Are you ready to do some yoga? Go ahead and get nice and comfortable on your mat. We are going to work through a gentle yoga flow together, some hamstring opening, some hip opening, some twisting, a nice flow that will get you feeling good for the rest of your day. And if this is the end of your day, then it's a nice way to wind down perhaps some of that tension from whatever you've been up to today or this week. So go ahead and get comfortable on your mat. If you have a supported, if you have a block or something that you could use for a supported back bend, please go ahead and do that. And if you don't have something like that, then no worries, just lie down on your back. I'm going to use a block. So the supported back bend, pretty easy to do with your block. And so if you don't own one, I recommend getting one. And we'll start by lying back over this beautiful block and creating a nice, gentle back bend. And just like that, my back cracked. So if that sometimes happens, it might happen for you. If that does happen, it's sometimes worth doing a little wiggle to the right, to the left, maybe rolling up and down on this block to see if you can get a couple more of those cracks. So start by taking a comfortable position for your arms, whatever that looks like. Sometimes in the back bend, I like to create a goalpost with my arms, and sometimes it's comfortable to have my hands on my belly. Whatever is comfortable for you is the right thing. Generally speaking, that is true of every yoga practice. So let's start with a few moments of breath awareness here. So inhale, breathe into the belly. Exhale, let it all go. Inhale, breathe into the belly. Exhale, let it all go. Again, inhale, breathe into the belly. Exhale, let it go. Something that you might do, whether you're in a supported back bend or not, is you might start to drop the knees off to the right or to the left. It can be a nice way to begin to mobilize and work out your low back. Depending on what you've been up to today, this can feel really nice just to wake up the hip joints. All right, now hug one knee to your chest, grab hold of the knee with your hands, and just take some little hip circles here, drawing circles with the knee. And switch sides. Hug the left knee to the chest, draw some little hip circles here. Nice deep breaths as you move, as you just observe. If you want to slow things way down, take the movements and also the pacing and also the depth that feels really nice for you today. And let's take it up to happy baby for a few breaths, just for a few moments here. And when you're ready, roll over your feet or roll over to one side in any way that's comfortable for you. Come on up to a tabletop position. So here in tabletop, start to articulate the spine. Inhale as you draw the sternum forward, gaze goes up. And as you exhale, round the spine, tucking the chin to the chest. take a few rounds of cat-cow here just from an exploratory perspective. And then as you start to warm up and maybe explore your outer range of motion, you might also start to incorporate some forward-backward movement here as you rock your body weight forward into your wrists and as you rock your body weight back into your knees. Your cat-cow doesn't have to just be in the vertical plane. You can also create kind of an ocean wave sort of thing, as though you're creating big circles with your rib cage. That can feel really nice, and also more of a total body cat-cow here. Something else that's fun to do in cat-cow, something if perhaps you want to try some new variations here, is to, rather than make it a forward-backward flexion of the spine all at once, is to think of your spine as a chain reaction here. And so from a neutral spine, start by tucking your tailbone under, and then your mid-back turns into a rounded shape, and then your upper back into a rounded shape, and then you tuck your chin to your chest. And now, again, with that same chain reaction, turn it into a back bend. So start with the tailbone. The low back follows, the mid back sinks, the upper back, and then the neck last, right? And so that cool chain reaction that really causes so much mindful movement down the length of the spine can become your cat-cow. Can you slow it way down? Can you move so much more intentionally? Takes a little bit of concentration, but that's really the point of most of what we do anyway, is that we would concentrate on what we're doing. So go ahead and bring the big toes to touch, knees nice and wide, settle the hips back toward the heels, and as you reach the arms forward, take a few moments here in child's pose, truly resting, truly relaxing every joint, every muscle of your body. Start by maybe wiggling your fingers, your toes, your wrists, your ankles. Find stillness in your elbows, your knees, your hips, your shoulders. Relax your chest toward the earth. Relax your belly. And maybe roll your head to the right, to the left, just like you're getting a little massage for your forehead. Here in child's pose, if it's comfortable for you, you might walk your elbows toward one another, toward the midline. And then you might bend the elbows as you bring the palms behind the neck here. So what you're doing here is you're using the friction on your mat to just encourage your upper arms into an external rotation. All right, so here in child's pose, we're going to do one more little variation to wake up the shoulders. So you're here in child's pose, you've got your forehead on the mat. Reach the arms forward and have your palms on the earth. And now straighten up the elbows so that the elbows come off the mat. And so you're really only touching the mat with your palms. That is the only part of your arms that are touching the mat is your palms. And so what I want you to do next is, without moving other parts of your body, try to only use your arm to pick your hand up off the mat and then set it back down. And by the way, you're only going to pick it up about a centimeter, maybe even less, because it's not about finding height. It's more just about engaging the whole arm, starting with the upper back where your shoulder meets the spine at the scapula. So now do this on the left side, just picking up the arm and then setting it back down. Right side, picking it up, setting it back down, left side. Now keep going right to left, these lift-offs, right to left. Try not to move the rest of your body. This is not about picking up your arm
using your abdominals or your side waist or anything like that. It's all about activating that space between the shoulder blades, the muscles that connect the scapula to the spine. Right to left, right to left. Should really start to feel some heat building up in the upper back. That's how you know you're doing it right. All right, come on back to a neutral spine here. And then bring the feet together, the knees together, settle it back to a seated position. Right, so this is the first time we've come into an upright torso here for our practice. And so close your eyes for a moment. And just notice once again how the change in posture perhaps translates to a change in sensation in the rest of your body. Let's bring some attention to our neck. Drop the ear to the right, drop the ear to the left, right to left. Some side stretching here for the neck. Maintain that nice, deep, slow belly breathing. All right, come back to neutral with the neck, and now start to turn your chin over one shoulder than the other. Turn it over your right shoulder, turn it over your left shoulder. And we're not going to be back in this kneeling position for too much longer, but I also understand if this is uncomfortable for you, and so don't feel like you need to sit here and suffer like this is some sort of a test. If you want to come off the kneeling position, please feel free. All right, now come back to a neutral spine and just relax your chin down toward your chest like you're looking down at your navel. And now reverse that motion, dropping your head back, lifting your chin toward the sky. Take an inhale. Exhale, release your chin toward your chest. So it's like a little cat-cow just for the neck. Inhale as you lift the chin toward the sky. Exhale as you round the neck, dropping the chin toward the chest. Forward, backward flexion of the neck this time. Walk the hands back out to tabletop. And let's start by starting to draw some little circles around the wrists with the shoulders. And so we're starting to wake up the wrists here, the forearms. And it's up to you how much body weight you put on the wrists here, because as is always the case, the wrists are not always, sorry, I'm getting a phone call. I hope that didn't cancel my recording. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, we're good. Going for do not disturb. Okay, so the wrist can sometimes feel tender, right? And so if you feel like your wrists are tender and you want to maybe decrease the amount of body weight that you're placing on the wrists and the forearms, then you can customize this for yourself. Slowly rock forward, back, side to side. And now you can take the body weight off the wrists entirely and sit back onto your ankles again and start to roll the wrists up and down. If that felt pretty good, if what we did felt pretty good, then something that you could do next, maybe perhaps a slightly elevated, slightly more intense wrist opener, wrist strengthener, would be to come back to this tabletop position and then walk your hands around in an external rotation so that the insides of the elbows are facing forward and the fingertips are pointing toward the knees, right? And if you look down at your hands, it might freak you out a little bit because you just reverse the orientation of your hands. But don't worry too much. As long as it's not hurting your shoulders or your wrists, you're doing just fine.
All right, and so maybe start to explore some movement here. You probably have a little bit less range of motion in this extreme rotation here than you did in the normal rotation. You might try rocking your body weight from right to left. And maybe even picking up the body weight up onto the fingers here. Well, that's nice. Nice. So shift the body weight back onto the feet again. And again, you're just taking the body weight off of the hands, the wrists, as you kind of explore how that feels. All right, one last little wrist stretch here is to take it back to tabletop. And now instead of walking the hands around on the mat so that the palms stay on the mat, now you're going to pick up the palm and you're going to set the back of the hand on the mat, right? And so again, the fingers are pointing toward the knees, but this time the palms are up towards your chest. And again, this can look a little freaky as you're looking at it, as you're looking at your hands in this flipped up position. You might wonder, am I going to break my wrist? Don't worry, you're not going to break your wrists. And maybe try rocking forward and back, side to side, making some little circles here. And again, you might rock some body weight back onto the backs of the hands, the knuckles. Depending on if you like to crack your knuckles, you might get a little knuckle crack in there as you roll some body weight forward onto the knuckles. It can feel nice. All right, go ahead and bring the hands back to tabletop. Curl the toes under. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, straighten the legs, lift the hips. Take it back to downward facing dog. Pedal the feet right, left, right, left. Press one heel, then the other into the earth. Walking that dog. Bend the knees. You might take a deep knee bend and try to maybe kiss the knees toward the mat or hover and then straighten the knees again. Let's do that a couple times. Inhale, floating tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, floating tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do one more. Inhale, floating tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your hands back towards your feet to meet your feet. And then take a soft bend in the knees. Let your upper body hang on the legs as you slip your pinkies into the elbows and gently sway side to side. Nod your head yes. Shake your head no. Ragdoll. All right. Release the hands and bring the hands to the shins as you straighten up the knees. Halfway lift, nice flat back, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. All right, so since we started out by focusing on our spine and some forward, backward flexion of the spine and some alternate ways to kind of wake up the spine in that forward, backward movement, we're going to kind of continue that this time with a standing spinal flow. And so I'm at the back of my mat. You can do this anywhere on your mat. What I want you to do is inhale, reach the arms overhead. And on the exhale, cactus arms. So squeeze the shoulder blades together, gaze goes up. Draw the sternum toward the sky. Inhale back to center, everything aligned underneath the shoulders. Exhale, fold over the legs. Bend the knees, your hands find the earth, and pick the heels up off the mat. And so you're curling down into a little ball. So you're going from a back bend to a rounded shape with your spine. Relax your chin to your chest. Tuck your forehead towards your knees. All right, so this little ball here is the rounded shape. Now on the next inhale, press the heels into the earth, straighten up the knees, hands find the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. We're going to take it through that spinal flow 3 times with breath. I'll talk us through it. you can dial it up or dial it down. And so the degree to which you take that back bend is totally up to you. If you're feeling pretty good, you might try experimenting with where you put your gaze. You might try dropping your head back and relaxing your neck and even trying to look at the wall behind you. Sometimes a standing back bend can feel a little bit intense, and so you might experiment with placing your hands on your low back in this standing back bend, right? Just a little bit more support for the low back, and that can perhaps allow your upper back to relax into the back bend a little bit. Really, my point is this: make this a comfortable and life-giving sequence for you. Here we go. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale for the standing back bend. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to round, relax your whole body around your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Again, inhale, reach. Exhale for the back bend. Inhale, arms overhead again. Back to center. Exhale to fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Have a seat on your mat any way that's comfortable for you. I want to start with kind of a fun little hip opener that's very gentle, right? So this is the sort of thing that sometimes hip openers and we can warm the hips in ways that like build a lot of heat, build a lot of sweat, and are like particularly challenging, but we're doing gentle yoga today. So keeping things mellow, keeping things very restorative is really the name of the game, or at least I try for that to be the case. And so have a seat. And what I want you to do is just relax your left leg down onto the mat any way that's comfortable for you, and I want you to pick up your right leg, and I just want you to look at it for a moment. All right, I want you to have your knee off to one side, your foot off to the other side. And so you're looking at your leg. I want you to think of your shin like a little baby, all right? And so the head of the baby is your knee, and you're going to cradle it in your elbow. And if it's accessible for you, you're going to cradle the foot, just like the feet of a baby, in your left elbow, and you're just going to rock this leg back and forth, just like a little baby. It's kind of a fun mental picture here. So we're just rocking it back and forth, hugging on this leg, and you might move around a little bit, because what is also true is that you've got the floor beneath you, and if you want to create some nice mashing massage from the floor into that right glute, that right outer hip, that is there for you. And don't forget to get some rocks back and forth again for that leg. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side, shall we? Pick up the left leg, and same thing. You're cradling the knee in one elbow, you're cradling the foot in the other elbow, and you're just rocking it back and forth. You don't have to be able to get your foot and your knee both into your elbow. You can cradle it in your hands too. You don't have to be able to do that all at once. And as you, once again, just like on the other side, as you kind of rock forward, rock back, You're getting a little bit of a massage from the floor. All right. So go ahead and bend both of your feet. Well, I'm not expecting that you can just come right up into a squat from seated, but so any way that's comfortable for you, come around to a squat, and let's just hang out here for the next few moments in a low squat. And so keep your heels on the earth if you can. So widen your feet enough so that you can have your heels down on the earth. You can have your elbows inside your knees to encourage the knees out to the sides, because a lot of times what happens when we wind up in the squat is that the knees collapse toward one another, which is not only not very good for the knees, but it also sacrifices any of the strength building capacity that we have in our outer hips. And so you want to drive the knees out to the sides. Now ultimately, eventually, you want to use your outer hips to drive the knees out to the sides, but not everybody has the muscular strength in the hips to keep the knees wide, and so using the elbows to keep them wide works too, especially while we're warming up here. So maybe try rocking back and forth. If this gets a little intense for you, then feel free to plant the hands, straighten up the knees, and give the knees a little shake. You might just dance the hips to the right, to the left a little bit. And then if you feel like you can drop back into the bottom of the squat, please feel free. So maybe just on your own time, on your own pace, hang out in the squat here for, I don't have my watch on me. We're going to be here for a couple minutes. It doesn't mean that you have to be in the squat the entire time, but do try to perhaps make that your goal, the ability to maintain and hang out in this squat for a couple minutes. We're not going to do a very long time. I will keep track. So something that you may notice, something that I notice when I hang out in the bottom of a squat, is that the fronts of my shins really light up. I know that everybody is different. So for me, I really feel when I am in a squat hold, an unweighted squat hold, I really feel it in the fronts of my shins because my foot is flexing a lot to try to rock my body weight forward. I know everyone's different, but that's just where I feel it when I do these longer holds. I wonder where you feel it. All right, gonna take a break. Oh. Two minutes of squatting. Hey, if we like this, we might make this a thing in our Wednesday yoga. Squat time. One more minute. Nice deep breaths. Remember to breathe here at the bottom of the squat. Remember to pull that breath into the belly. All right. Yeah, I'm going to call that good. All right, so straighten up the knees. Give the knees a little shake. Lift the hips toward the sky. And with your hands on the mat, maybe just rock to the right, rock to the left, walk the hands over to the left leg, walk the hands over to the right leg. Just unwinding all this time in the squat. Maybe it feels good to come up onto your tippy toes. Picking the heels up off the mat. Oh, here's one. If you want to have a seat again and come into that kneeling position, Oh, that might feel really nice to sit back on your feet this time. So this is stretching out the fronts of the shins, which for me get really fired up when I'm in a long squat. And so stretching out the fronts of the shins can be particularly nice. All right, let's take it back to downward facing dog. Curl the toes under and take it back to downward facing dog. Pedal the feet, press one heel, then the other. Walk your feet forward to the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, bring the hands to the shins, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. From the top of the mat, let's take it through some half sun salutations, nice and slow with the breath. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Last time, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Let's take it through a complete sun salutation. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step it back to plank. Pause for a moment here at the top of the push-up. Find lift between the shoulder blades here. Tuck the tailbone under, nice and strong through the low belly. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, lower all the way to the earth. Chest touches, belly touches, tops of the feet touch. Hands are underneath the shoulders as you inhale. Peel the chest and shoulders off the mat. Cobra. Exhale, chin back down. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, chin back down. Again, inhale, Cobra. And this time, we're going to take a nice long variation on Cobra here. So bring the forearms, the elbows underneath the shoulders here. And so the upper arms, your upper body is propped on the upper arms here. And your forearms are shoulder width apart. They're parallel with each other. The palms are down. And so as you lead your sternum forward between your upper arms here, you should feel your shoulder blades press forward through the back of your rib cage. Nice activation in the upper back. And if you mostly feel this in the low back, think about tucking the tailbone under so that it's not so much a low back bend, but it's more about the upper back. So even a slight tuck under with the tailbone to engage the abdominals will go a long way to allowing this to focus on the upper back here. If you're feeling bored in Sphinx pose at all, you might try coming back to some of your neck exercises. You might drop your head to the left, head to the right, turn your chin to the left, turn your chin to the right, maybe even turn and peek up toward the sky. Try the other side, peek up toward the sky. All right, so from Sphinx pose, bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, press it back to child's pose. So a nice little counter stretch to Sphinx pose. Relax the arms, relax the elbows. Long, slow breaths. Nice and relaxed. Another variation you can take in child's pose is to stack your forearms one on top of the other. You might relax your forehead down onto the arms as though you're looking toward the earth, or you might try turning so that one side of your head is relaxed and on the forearms. And then you might try the other side. All right, so from child's pose, press the palms into the earth, curl the toes under, take an inhale. And on the exhale, straighten the legs, lift the hips, take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through outside the right pinky. So have your left hand directly beneath the shoulder, and so you're supporting yourself with your left hand. Inhale, reach the right fingertips to the sky, and on the exhale, plant it back underneath the shoulder. And so you're replacing it on the mat, and you're squaring the shoulders toward the earth again. Inhale as you reach the right fingertips toward the sky, and you're rotating the sternum toward that right inner thigh. Exhale as you bring it back down to the back down to the earth. Inhale, reaching it toward the sky, and this time on the exhale, you can either plant the hand or if you want to try tapping the elbow to the earth. So building a little bit of depth here in this right hip. Inhale as you reach and open it up. Exhale, hand or elbow to the earth. It's up to you. Inhale to open it up. Exhale. You might experiment with this. Take it away 3 full rounds of breath here. All right, now this time plant the right hand just inside the right foot. Spin the back heel down, so you're bringing your feet into a warrior 2 stance. The right hand is beneath the right shoulder, and as you reach the left fingertips up toward the sky, you're in a side angle. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, circle the left hand back to the earth, step it back to plank, and your choice. Take it through a flow, or we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Left side, inhale, lift the left leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through outside the left pinky. All right, so we're setting up for this same little sequence here. Your right hand is beneath the right shoulder. Inhale as you reach the left fingertips to the sky. Exhale as you plant the hand back to the earth. Inhale, open it up toward the sky. It's a chain reaction through your shoulders too, so it's a rotation with your whole wingspan. Exhale, back to the earth. Inhale, open it up. And exhale. You might try tapping your elbow to the earth now. Up to you. Take it away on your own time, on your own pace. Tapping the hand to the earth or the elbow. Up to you. Last time opening it up. And last time closing it down. Plant the left hand beneath the left shoulder. Straighten up that right leg. So circle the heel to the earth and reach the right fingertips to the sky, coming into side angle. So the right hand is inside, the left hand is inside the left big toe.
You should feel your right shoulder leading toward the sky, your left shoulder stacked on top of your left hand. So you're opening up your wingspan here, straight line from wrist to wrist. Take an inhale. Exhale, circle the hand to the earth. Take it through a flow, or we'll all meet in downward facing dog. And actually, let's take a pit stop in child's pose. All right, come on back up to tabletop here. Inhale, reach the right fingertips to the sky. And exhale, reach under and through toward the side of your mat, but don't set the arm down. Inhale, open it back up. Exhale, reach it under and through. We're just exploring this rotation here. Inhale, open it back up. Exhale, reach it under and through. Once again, inhale, open it back up. And this time on the exhale, you can reach the arm under and through. Set the arm, the shoulder, and the side of the face down on the earth. And you might even walk the left fingertips forward toward the front edge of your mat. Relax into this twist here. I'm going to take this little twist off because my shoulder, I'm still kind of nursing a little shoulder injury from last week, and that kind of bugs it. But for you, if this is comfortable for you, for your upper back here, just take some nice slow breaths. I know it's not very easy to breathe in a twist, but do what you can. And then slowly unwind, press back up out of it the way you came into it, and come on back to tabletop. And before we just go right into it on the other side, take it through a few rounds of cat-cow. Forward, backward flexion of the spine. All right, we're going to take it through the same twist for the upper back on the other side. Inhale, reach the left fingertips to the sky. Exhale, reach it under and through. Don't set the arm down, though. Inhale, open it back up, reach. Exhale, reach it under and through. Reach for the right side. Inhale, open it back up. Exhale, under and through. Nice deep exhale, complete exhale. Inhale, open it back up. And exhale. This time you can settle the arm down onto the earth, settle the side of the face, and maybe even walk the right fingertips forward. Nice deep breaths here. So you're using the earth to just help your upper back into this twist. Just like on the other side. Slowly press back up out of it, back to tabletop. And once more, take it through a few rounds of cat-cow here. Bring the legs around in front of you. Lie down on your back. And hug both knees to the chest. Gently roll side to side. Now, we're going to take a reclined figure 4, which is, I guess, a little bit of a progression from that seated hip opener that we did earlier on in our practice. And so the idea here, once again, is that you are taking that same rotation in the hip, but this time perhaps a little bit more intense because you're using your left knee to keep driving the foot toward the face. And breathe. Slowly release, switch sides, cross the left ankle over the right knee. Same thing, figure 4, reclined figure 4. And slowly release, hug both knees to the chest. Pull the knees wide, grab hold of the outsides of the feet, coming into happy baby. As you relax into the earth, maybe gently roll side to side. You might try experimenting with kicking one foot straight, kicking the other foot straight. Kind of explore those hamstrings. And then when you're ready, relax your legs, relax your arms. Oh, actually, we're going to do one more pose before we relax into our resting pose. So I want to do a bridge pose. So have your arms down by your sides, bend your knees, walk your hips or your feet up towards your hips. What I want you to do is press the heels into the earth, lift the hips off the mat. Right, and the idea here is that there's just a little bit of a gentle back bend here, and so you might interlace the hands behind the back and roll the shoulders underneath that clearance behind the rib cage here. And breathe. And now slowly release. And we're going to do a variation on that. And so you always have the option to do the typical, what we just did, that standard bridge pose. Or if you want to try a little bit of a variation on it, what you're going to do is just relax your arms down by your sides and then come up into bridge pose again the way you did. But take your left hand
I want you to reach it up overhead and across the body. And so you're elevating up onto that right shoulder, and as you reach the left fingertips up and over to the right, your gaze follows the fingertips, and now set it back down and release the left arm back down. Now we're going to do the same thing on the right. Pick up the right arm, reach it up and overhead and across the body to the left, and as it does, my shoulder follows, my gaze follows. Now I go back down. Let's do that one more time, to the right and to the left. So we're elevating and rolling up onto that shoulder. All right, and then let's relax down onto the mat. Nice, that was kind of a new and different experience there in bridge pose. So relax the legs, relax the feet, relax the wrists, relax the shoulders, the hips. Maybe take any little final fidgets or movements that would allow you to get nice and comfortable on your mat. And ultimately, once you're there, just allow your breath to flow through your body naturally. Shavasana. Slowly begin to reawaken the body, wiggle the fingers, the toes, roll out the wrists, the ankles. Reach the arms overhead toward the back, point the toes toward the front. Take a deep breath and a full body stretch from fingers to toes and everything in between. And then on the exhale, roll over to the right side. And slowly press the floor away. Make your way back up to a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes when you get there. Bring your awareness to the sensations in your body, your breath, your joints, your muscles. the information coming into you from your outside world. On the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. All right. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.